Hello my friends and welcome to the new exciting videos where I'm going to invite some of my friends from different countries and we're going to chat with them about our nationalities because we all from different places around the world. I think it's going to be super interesting. And as always, if you still haven't subscribed to my channel, I'm Dari. I'm making travel vlogs and also trying to bring people from different countries together, even though politics try to do otherwise. So be sure to follow and let's get started. So guys, let me introduce you my girlfriends. First of all, here's Lara. Where are you from?
I'm from United States, New York, born and raised.
Amazing. And our second guest is Jasmine. Girl, where are you from? Like, that's more complicated.
Hello, my name is Jasmine, and I was born and raised in Germany, southern Germany, but my family is originally from Portugal, so I grew up with the Portuguese culture a lot.
And I'm Dari. I'm from Moscow, Russia. I lived, however, in the end in around 10 countries, but I did grow up in Russia. So let's talk today about the cultures of our countries. And what's going to be the first subject?
Yeah, let's start with friendship, because
Yeah, I like that.
maybe we can talk about like how we met.
Just a quick note. Girls and I go to the same university in New York called St. John's University.
So I remember seeing some of your content online, and I think I remember, I don't know, I saw you somewhere, and I thought you were very interesting because I was also an international student, and I thought it was very relatable. So, and I also really love content creation. I'm a big photography lover and videography lover, so I started following you and started following like what you do on campus and kind of to see like your experience coming from Russia. And I think then I started following you, and I was a little scared to reach out to you at first. I was a little shy.
Yeah. She was following me. She was liking all my stories, and then I was like, okay, girl, let's just meet. Like, you look very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's just go for a coffee. And that's how we become friends very
Yes,
quickly.
yes.
And then you introduced me to Lara, and we had a very nice, I think we decided to have like painting class at your apartment.
Yeah.
It was like a paint and sip type class. It was very nice.
And then we got along, so and then we've been hanging out ever since. I think since like last semester or
No,
Two
like
semesters
around a
or, like,
year, right?
a
I
year?
think, yeah.
Yeah.
Time flies. Oh. Let's maybe talk deeper about our countries, our cultures, and maybe the difference between friendship styles. How would you say, is it like taking a long time in your country, like US, Germany, like Russia, to become friends, or is it like getting quite quickly? For example, I can start with Russia. I honestly think it's quite easy to become friends. Like, you just drink something and then you talk, and I'm not talking about super deep friendship, long one, but it's quite easy to become friends, and it's not like just politeness and like just be nice. Usually, if you feel like some connection, you go for a coffee, you start hanging out. So I found it quite easy, and I felt also more or less the same thing in Europe when I lived there.
yes, I think it's very similar. I have a quick question first before I share my friendship view on like how German people make friends. Do you feel like in Russia people our age when they meet new people, are they more of like first like very hesitant and they are careful with who they meet, or would you say they're like very open, similar to the US? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, for you, for example, as in America, because here the small talk, the smiling couch, it's a big thing. So for you, you might say Russians like taking it like putting a distance a little bit. But I think for us, there is not much distance. We maybe not so expressive and like emotional and smiling. But I wouldn't say we make a big distance. More or less, people are quite open to each other.
So I think growing up in Germany, I think Germans are definitely, or from my experience, I'm also from southern Germany, just for the context. They're definitely like first very reserved and careful with who they meet. I think Germans like to be kind of more in their circle first, and they're really protective with who they spend their time with. But I think similarly to the Russian culture, going out and having a drink with people, especially like the beer culture, going to a pub or going to a bar and meeting people through like going out and having a drink is very big in Germany too. And I think, especially like after I moved here 7 years ago, I can definitely see a difference between the American culture. But before I give it over to you, being from Portugal also, I think my Portuguese friends in Portugal, they're much more open than Germans, and I think they open up their shell or their circle more to, I guess, strangers, from my experience. But it depends. People, there's definitely maybe like a little theme in the cultures. But I would say Germans are still very open-minded to meet people, 100%, and all my German friends are very well traveled, but still very like careful who they let into their circle.
That's so interesting. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, to add to that, I had the privilege of going to both Germany and Austria with Germany and Portugal with Jasmine this past summer, and I think it's so true. Like when all your German friends were so nice and so very thoughtful, and they took me everywhere without hesitation. But there is, it's like, oh, this is Jasmine's friend. It wasn't necessarily so much like, oh, let's get to know Lara, especially because I was there for only 5 days. It was like a temporary type. But when I went to Portugal, just meeting your family, they were like, come here, kiss me. I'm going to tell you about my life story. This is how it is. It was just so
very warm,
unguarded, and like, you're here now, you're a part of my life right now, let's enjoy. Like, it was such a different, like a 180, but still it was great. For Americans, it's so hard. I'm probably going to speak more of like a New York type, because I feel like America is so broad and different in that aspect. But I think New Yorkers get the stereotype that they're very like cold and rude a lot, which I would flip it to be more like they're very one mind tracked. They have their destination in front of them, and if they meet you along the way, they're like, oh, hi, how are you? But we're still going somewhere. As for like friendships, it is a bit more guarded, but it doesn't take a lot to break down that wall. It's just kind of like, oh, if I see you, either one of you in the bar, I'm like, oh my god, I like your top, and you're like, oh, I like yours. I'm like, oh, really? What are you drinking? Like, it's like initially it is very hesitant, but I think it's not hard to like break down that wall, like I said.
Like what I found in USA, I think a bit difficult in terms of making friends. For example, in Russia, if we meet someone, we share like socials, like, oh, let's meet like in a week and go somewhere. Like, yeah, let's meet. And honestly, 95% you're gonna meet. Like, as if you have this verbal agreement, the next day you're gonna reach out and you're gonna schedule a meeting. Right. And what I felt in the US, that people just talk about this and they never meet usually.
That's so true.
And for me, it was so like, oh my God, why?
That's actually so funny, because I wouldn't have even thought of that. But as you said, it's kind of like too. It's like when you pass someone on the street, it's like, oh, hi, how are you? But it's almost like casual talk. It's like, I don't even mean it. Yeah, it's like it's kind of just like a hi. Care. But absolutely so true.
A fact about my best friend, she met one girl in the bar, and then they just talk at night, like in the toilet, literally in the toilet. Then
in the toilet?
Socials. Yeah.
You mean in the bathroom?
Girl. They share socials. Then they met in 2 days for coffee. Then they went on a trip to another country together. Now they're best friends.
Wow.
We were hanging out here, and that's like.
Were they both American? Just one was
both Russian. In Russia, yeah.
How was it for you to make American friends?
Me?
Like American girlfriends specifically, because from my experience, it was very. I don't know. It was in the beginning. It was very hard because most of my friends were international, because like you have so much to relate to, you have so much to share. But in the beginning, when I first came here, first started going to college, it was hard because it seemed like, I don't know, they're already in like their group. So it was hard for me. How was it for you?
It's tough. I don't think I have very close American friends still. Like, we are hanging out, but for example, I was being friends with some other Americans before, and it didn't go very fast. So I hope you will be an exception. I'm going to be many years together.
There's one sitting right there.
No, but what I'm saying, like in terms of, for me, I really needed to change my mindset a little bit when I moved to the US, because for me it's like you're getting closer, you feel free to share something, and I felt that American girls, they often don't share, like don't share their personal stuff. I don't know how to explain, like some traumas, childish trauma, like that's how we bond in Russia when you share about something like that. Here it's more like you don't talk about like deep stuff, and not with everyone, but I noticed like in some friends group, like I didn't.
mean.
I don't know how to explain this. It's you talk, you smile, small talk, and even in the friends group, you hanging out. I see, for example, like you had a party recently, and it was Jonathan, our friend, and other American friends, and they already start saying, oh, "You my bestie now," and
that's
like
so
this.
true.
So for
That
me,
is so
it
true.
would be a little bit fake, because I wouldn't call a friend a bestie that I literally met like less than an hour ago. Like. I wouldn't even think to call it this. I don't think, by the way, you also would call like that.
I don't take anything personal.
When like you immediately start saying like this for Russians, it's very strange.
I want to add to that because I feel like a lot of times, and I 100% agree. I think so Americans, I think very one of the kindest people I know.
100%.
They're so sweet. They want to help so much, and it's definitely kind of like a customer service type of like culture, because they always want to provide and help people, which I really really value. But I feel like a lot of times when it comes to like meeting people, it's really very so, I don't know, the response that you get sometimes is so broad, where like, are you being genuine? Do you really like, you know, do you really care? I don't know, do you really mean what you're saying right now, or are you just saying it because it's nice in the moment? Oh yeah, you have a cute dress.
In my culture, it's like we are more, how can I say, not relaxed, but not
You're direct. And you're honest.
Yeah, like sometimes it's very bad. It's like, you know, telling the truth. I came right now to my counter and they're like, oh, Dasha, you got fat. You put on your weight. It's like, I didn't ask. So sometimes it's very bad. But sometimes when you ask, like, how is your dress? It's not going to be like super expressive. It's going to be more like chill answer, but you know, it's 100%. Probably the truth.
And in like Germany, I definitely agree. People are like that too, and in Portugal too. I think in Germany they're definitely very more honest, and they'll really tell you how it is, how they think it is in the moment. And I think in Portugal, when I go home, very similar experience. They're like, oh, you should maybe take a little bit better care of your skin, or they're just very honest. But they also like really care about you, and that's why they tell you all these things. But whereas in America, I feel like if you go to your aunt's house and your aunt says you gain weight, that'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe you just body shamed her. I don't know, you know, it's definitely like a slippery road to walk on, if that makes sense.
How about you, Laura? How does it feel for you to be friends? Like, let's take us as an example, like people from different countries and in America.
I do think that international students, maybe because you guys are more seeking the relationships to form those friendships, it is so much easier. Because to your point, Jasmine, I do think that a lot of relationships are like cliques here, and it's hard to break that clique. I don't know if you guys also have cliques back home. I would assume.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's true.
But yeah, and also, I mean, I don't know if I'm just speaking from experience, but I do think it is common. A lot of times Americans don't like to share their friends. Like, you know, we have our group. This is our group. We have a group chat. And, like, we can meet you and we'll be nice to you. Like you said, it's kind of like, oh, I love your sweater. Oh, my God, those jeans are fantastic. But it doesn't mean, you know, you're a part of us. Type of thing. And I don't know if that could be more of a catty thing than, again, I don't say I'm speaking from experience. When I say something, I mean something. I'm never, you know, but I do think a lot of times, like, to your point again, it is like there's some sort of, I don't want to say a projection with Americans. Like their appearance does mean a lot.
That's so interesting. I never thought about this, because in Russia, in my friends group, we all introduce each other. I know all the girlfriends, the best friends of my friends. We've been hanging out also, often mixing the companies, like hanging out like this. So I never realized that it's different in US. So guys, I really hope that you enjoy my conversation with the girls, and actually it was just the first part of the podcast series, if I can call it like that, when we're gonna discuss our countries, and in the next episode we're gonna talk about some spicy topics, relationships. It's gonna be super interesting, so if you haven't subscribed to me, do it now, press the subscribe button, and if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to press the like button, and please give me some feedback in the comments if you like this kind of videos, and if you'd like to support me a little bit more, I would really appreciate if you can become a part of my Patreon community or send me a donation with Buy Me Coffee. So thank you so much, gonna see you very soon.
You want to come over for Netflix and chill?
What's going on? Like,
No one wants commitment.
I gotta move to Russia.
That's crazy. Tyler, watch this video while there is no ring over here.